Listen, I started way back in '91 with Additive, and I brought the very first machine into Australia into private business, which was my company back then, and that was a Stratasys FDM 1650. And it was $250,000 back then, so a lot of money. And as we know, I mean, industry just was nowhere near ready, and I kept getting the words coming out of industry, oh, it's too expensive, materials are too expensive, 6 months it'll fizzle out. Well, look how it's fizzled. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry now. So I was approached late 2018 to come in and take on the Additive Manufacturing Hub in Australia, and to give it its national or its ASEAN presence. So without ado, you'll find that I am very passionate about additive, and that may come through in a little bit of my talking. I've got to get through this quick because I've only got a few minutes, as 13 to be precise. The vision of the AM Hub, it was to provide an industry-driven collaboration network of organisations that'll foster and grow the additive manufacturing sector. So we look at the AM Hub as being the catalyst of this, and it links together the service providers, technology providers, the industry participants, research institutes, and of course government mechanisms, which I'll talk about as we're going through. Just so you know, the Hub is here in Australia is a not-for-profit organisation, and it's virtually there as an enabler, a facilitator, an educator to bring to industry what additive's all about, how it can actually be incorporated with their own manufacturing processes, and also to look at how can we develop the skill sets even further. So it was established from a $1.85 million grant from the Victorian Government, as they saw 3D printing as a game changer for the future of manufacturing, and they wanted the local companies to start to reap some of the benefits. So the Hub was there to help local manufacturers innovate and become more productive and excel in the future industries. We know AM is a breakthrough technology for advanced manufacturing, and is a huge part of our digital revolution, and of course a big part of what Industry 4 is all about as well. So the capabilities we're trying to get is the high value manufacturing through the local businesses. The Hub is there to improve access for Australian companies to Victoria and Australia's and New Zealand's world-class AM infrastructure that we have now. And just promote this and promote it also globally. The key activity within the Hub is to address, we're there to identify some of the skill sets and gaps that are happening in industry and help develop the capability in areas such as case analyses designed for manufacture through our national network of registered service providers. The AM Hub there is for all businesses and industries to get involved with. We've got this 10-point plan, but of course I'm the sort of person that likes to keep playing, so I've added one. I didn't want to call it the 11-point plan, so we thought let's give it a 10 plus 1 point. So we're there to provide an open forum of communication around additive. We're there to help expand the knowledge base of the AM sector. We're there to implement and help with the implementation of AM technologies and techniques. Research, we work very much with all of our institutions. I spent 11 years at Bosch, and I had a lot of industry experience with the industries and also some of the universities in Europe, and I love the way they work together. I want that to happen here in our region as well. So I'm helping to promote that, helping to let companies understand what areas some of our universities are doing research in around additive manufacturing. We promote and have 30-odd networking events a year, so we facilitate interaction between the organisation through these. We also host the largest manufacturing exhibition that's held in Australia, which will be held in March next year. That's AusTech and AMW. We're there to sort of accelerate the uptake of AM technologies, there to support with the creation of high quality additive manufacturing jobs, and that is building the skill sets around those. Marketing is another big thing. We have the AMT magazine, and we do a fair amount of marketing around not just additive, but around manufacturing technologies here in Australia and New Zealand. Sustainability is my pet one. That's developing a self-sustaining model for the hub moving forward. That model will come out in June this year. We have a lot of support coming from some of the big defence players, BAE, Boeing, also Siemens have offered a big support behind us as well. We're there trying to develop partnerships, both local and international, between Australian companies and international companies. And of course, value. We're there to add value and deliver services that add value to our members. Maybe some of the top 10 challenges, or I call them the adoption hurdles. The investment cost, of course, of equipment is fairly high, and in the past was more cost prohibitive than what it is now. They're coming down, as we know. Knowledge gap, well, of course, that's industry still not totally understanding about additive, how it can work, and how it may be able to be justified into their own manufacturing facilities. Lack of skilled resources is going to be our future hurdle, a big hurdle. And that's why we've got to develop these courses around additive to help build our skilled resources here, and not just here, but right throughout the APAC region. AM, of course, we know can bring significant change to distribution and business models based on their conventional manufacturing, and it could be seen as an unwelcome disruption to some businesses. Post-processing has been another large area of adoption hurdle. Lower penetration, excuse me, of advanced manufacturing technologies, weak participation in global supply chain markets, lack of national level industry platform to voice concerns. And this is why I'm really enjoying what is now being promoted through the APAC additive meetup. I think this is one big thing that's going to be one of the big things moving into the future. And of course, the lack of holistic additive manufacturing strategies to drive industrialisation across the industry sectors, and that's all industries. We did run a voucher scheme over the past 2.5 years, and that has taken in account 1.3 million of both industry and government money. It was co-funded. We had 42 vouchers which have been approved over that period of time. To date, those vouchers of 1.3 has generated over $23 million in the project. So it's been very, very successful, and the governments here are now looking at a similar model moving forward. We've ranged through so many variations of industry, as medical, mining, fashion, of course, aerospace, signage, defence, food and meat, rail, agriculture, housing, and others, of course. Dozens of knowledge transfer events we've run through webinars, technology showcases, published case studies, and international site visits, which we ran in 2019, long before the COVID. We also run courses through the Barnes Group, which are online courses, and also through ASTM International. Just some of the thing, I won't read all of this because, one, I don't get enough time to do. These are just some of the areas that have come back and indicated that although the grant was a $20,000 grant and matched by the applicant as well, so it was a $40,000 project, a lot of these companies have turned around and said that without it, it was an enabler for them to begin and start. So this will be made available, these slides will be made available through APAC Additive to those wishing a copy of this at a later stage. And you can read through. So that's me. Thank you. Sorry, just a quick one. This is the Additive Australia and New Zealand network as it is. This is probably just a little bit old now, but this was done by RMIT. As you can see, it's right around Australia. And that there is how it fares in each state. This is only some. I mean, the AM Hub now has over 140 members from when it started in 2019. So we've grown, and this list needs updating yet again. So anyway, thank you.
What a vibrant community. So John, which industries are most popular in the Australian market as it relates to using additive?
Oh, Janet, that's a very hard one to put a finger on. It is just with the 42 vouchers that we've run to date, as I said, over some of it, we've gone from the fashion industry, we've gone through defence industries, we've gone through the mining, we've gone through the rail, we're going through building and construction, we're now into house printing, and right through to signage, medical. We're also working in COVID. They're doing this new product that can actually test and give you a result in 10 minutes. And this is through quantum dot technology, but it's all the housings and everything are all additively produced. So yeah, it's just amazing some of the areas that, of course, are there that we're actually playing in. Defence is a big one, and as you all know, I mean, defence in Australia is one of the big words at the moment. There's a lot of projects and that happening around defence, and there's a lot now, and as I said earlier, BAE and Boeing are big ones in pushing the national hub that we've got.
And with Speed 3D supporting the defense sector with the Army recently, there's so much going on there.
There is. We've got, there's Aurora Labs in Western Australia. They're producing SLM equipment. We have AMPRO in Melbourne producing SLM equipment. We have a Sega up in Sydney producing DLP equipment, which is heavily into the dental area and that they're working in, but the bulk of what they produce is actually exported to Europe and the US.
Can you share how Australia has been collaborating with other Asia Pacific organizations to date?
We started trying, as you can imagine, we've only had, the hub's only been going now for 2.5 years. So the collaboration stage is, you are it, Janet. We started by going to Form Next in 2019 to start to develop some relationship. And I know Aditya, we met there as well. So I met quite a few. So the focus here has been on a lot to do around the grants program that we've been running. And that has taken a huge focus of my time. This is why at this point, the hub is going to grow to the next level. And this is now being supported by industry here in Australia. So industry now are willing to start to tip some funding in to build the hub to where it should be. And same with New Zealand. They're keen of moving the hub now to the next level. It needs more. It needs more than John Croft.
Definitely. And thanks so much, John, for sharing very blitzly the landscape for Australia. So before further ado, if you're interested in learning more about the Australian market during the virtual networking, go find John and he'll be more than happy to share more information.